Hi. So, welcome to today's speech, and thank you, Digital Marketing Conference, for this wonderful opportunity. I was not speaking for more than a year, so happy to be back on stage, although virtual. So, as usual, I see that there are already people in the room. So, can you please write in comments if you can hear me loud and clear? Just a couple of, just fine, and everybody can hear me. And meanwhile, we'll proceed with today's topic. So we're going to talk today about optimization in media buying for small medium business. And probably it would be applicable to a wider audience, but we'll talk about companies that have some headcount, have some budgets that maybe even in thousands of dollars per month, but they still don't have resources for huge solutions that are employed by bigger agencies or companies. And again, the time today is probably 45 minutes. I don't plan to talk more than 20-25. So we have a lot of time for questions, if any. And don't hesitate to type your questions whenever you have them. So let's roll. Today, this is his life would be very bright unless most of his day would be spent on this. So setting up campaigns, cut and paste all the data, collecting this data in one place, optimizing, blacklisting something that is not working constantly, doing all other stuff, and moreover, doing this on a daily basis. And actually, there is no break, because if you stop doing this, campaign performance degrades very quickly. So it's daily routine operation, and there is not much time left for things that drive most people. That's being creative, that's inventing something, that's being like even thinking through all the process. Although being a net to an extent, I do enjoy crunching through numbers and analyzing data. So it's maybe not related to everybody. And today we'll talk about four things. First, what's the difference between automation and optimization? Because often in the marketing space, quite a few people use these words as if they are the same. No, they're different. We'll also talk about the actors in automation and optimization, but we'll talk just about channels, robots, and humans. And then we'll also cover the big technology changes that are happening for the last several years. And probably year 2021 will be a pinnacle of the changes in the technology and in the landscape that will influences the future of media buying optimization for small, medium, and mid-market companies. So first, two key assumptions is that everybody talks about managing campaigns. But managing campaigns, it goes down to one specific action, making changes. The only way you can manage campaign is make changes to something that is up and running. And making changes is basically goes down to deciding what and why you're changing. And decision should be based on data. Well, honestly, I think still a lot of media buyers are making this on gut feeling because they just observe their campaigns on a daily basis. And then say, okay, that's what I'll do. Ideally, this should be based on data, and you need quality data to make quality decisions. Everything about this process was explained many years ago. By many, I mean 100 years ago, before digital marketing was a thing. And this is a book, a scientific advertising. It's free. It's available on the web. I encourage everybody to just Google for it, find and read this book. It explains the process of digital media buying, collecting data, and making decisions. And I'll be honest, at least my subjective opinion, that has not changed for the last almost 100 years. The difference is that tools are evolving. Tools that media buyers, marketers are using to collect the data, to process the data, to make the decisions, and to apply these decisions towards their campaigns. And this takes us to the difference between automation and optimization. And by tools, we of course not referring to, I don't, all the spreadsheet is also a tool. We are talking about something that can save your time, remove mundane tasks, or allow you to make better decisions. So whenever human like me or you will make the decision, but then this decision will be applied to your campaigns automatically, then it's just automation. So when you say, okay, I want to blacklist all the placements with performance below X, there is zero artificial intelligence, zero machine learning. It's plain simple automation, and automation is good. It saves a lot of your time. You make the decision, you create the rule, and then robots, well, systems do it for you. You just keep checking the results. Now, on the next level, those decisions can be made by robots, by programs, whatever you want to call it. And now it becomes very critical, because when the decision power is given to the systems, you have the only way you can control it is by controlling the data that is used by those systems to make the decisions, and the quality of those decision-making algorithms. And so, since this whole talk is about small, medium business, mid-market companies, for most of those companies, primarily there are several key channels that provide them with machine learning, like Google and Facebook. And it's important that I still mention machine learning, although, just to make a difference, I think that everything that media buyers use has to do with machine learning and not with artificial intelligence. But since machine learning is part of artificial intelligence, a lot of companies use them as a marketing language in such a way that would kind of make their positioning better. Or they can say, okay, we call it AI, it's more fancy word than machine learning, because you have a lot of movies about artificial intelligence, but you don't have many movies about machine learning, although there are a couple of very good ones. And the second is the data that you feed to those machine learning systems, because they learn from data, they identify patterns, and they make decisions. So what data you can feed to those systems so that they can learn from it and identify patterns? That's your performance data. Your media buying campaigns, their performance, the actions potential visitors took with the media buying campaigns, like clicks, when they get to your website, what actions they make on your website, and when, how, and potentially why they make the conversion event or conversion events, basically reach the goal of your campaigns. And of course, each of you may have different goals. Each of you may have different visitor customer journeys. Each of you may have different channels, but in the end, there is still a finite number of data points that system can process. And like it or not, currently, and for the past, I'd say 5 or 6 years, when the machine learning actually took active role in all the major media buying channels, again, Google, Facebook, Bing, what have you, these would be them who power the decisions about your campaigns. And there are two reasons. Number one, they own the data. You don't have all the data, they have all the data. They have spend data, they have your performance data, they have data about dozens of other advertisers. They can process this data at scale, and they can make decisions instead of you. And whenever you think that Now I actually own the data, have this solution or that solution that I read all the data via API from all those tools into one single dashboard. No, I would disagree, and that's a very important statement. They still own the data because you use conversion attribution. That's your goal. What influenced and which campaign contributed to your goal? Data that is provided by your channel. And I think it's not good because each channel, naturally, their goal is to get as much of your budget as possible. So suppose you're just running Google, well, you don't care. You still will spend as much as possible on Google to get as big a result, as more conversions as possible. So let them be biased. There's just probably no other channels of paid advertising, and all your budget goes to Google. They will do a great job. But now suppose you are splitting your budget between two channels. They will both fight for the attribution because they want most of your budget. And they will show that they gave you most conversions because this will drive their machine learning to spend more of your money to give you in more conversions. And this cycle starts to go, and that you want to spend more budget with one channel, but the other budgets want also the money. And the reason they are biased also is because they know all your conversions. Because behind that goal on your website, there sits a pixel from Google, from Facebook, from somebody else, and they know all your conversions. So it's in their interest to apply to attribute as many conversions as possible to themselves. And that's how you end up in a situation when your CRM or your store data or your bank account shows that you have 10 sales or 10 trials or what have you. But if you combine the data from all your channels, you have like 15. And that's when you start going back to your gut feelings. So, okay, those all of the changes I will do. And also, as you'll notice, there are more and more changes in the interface of all those channels that want you to just allow them to make changes on your behalf. Auto suggestions, like apply rules, focus on just this one goal, and all would be good if the data would be complete and not biased. And let me go back to the previous slide. Why it's not complete? Because they know all your conversions, but they don't know how your other channels perform. And like I said, this means that they're present partial data and they're biased to show each particular channel is biased to show them as the best performing one because they want your budget. And I mentioned before this that probably 2001 will be the year, the pinnacle of all the changes in the media buying market that will greatly influence all of the participants. So why I think it's so? Two big events. That's just the top of the iceberg, or maybe the final step in the market transformation. This year, Google plans to kill third-party cookies. It will mean that the data about your performance will not be as accessible as before to all and everybody. And by campaign performance, we mean remarketing, we mean conversion tracking, we mean conversion attribution. Before that, everybody would ask you to put the pixel on your website. They will collect all the data and do whatever they want with this data, and they own it, not you. And Google moved to kill third-party cookies. We'll not talk about this, why they're making this. Will be just the last step. And whenever somebody is buying on Facebook and see all the hassle about iOS 14 changes, that's just the demo version for you. What will happen when Google will shut down third-party cookies and other cross-site tracking technologies in Chrome later this year? And this is a huge tectonic change across all the solutions available for media buying, analytics, and attribution. But on the other hand, until recently, there were no tools available to digital advertisers and marketers and priced reasonably that can process all the huge amounts of data that are required to make those machine learning possible. And consider, machine learning is done by Google. They have the power, or by Facebook, or by somebody else. They have the power and data to process it. But even if you go down to the Google Analytics, the free tool, they actually have sampling in the free version, they have data aggregation, and they just report this data. Because technologies to handle all your performance data, and basically not all, but the performance data of all potential users was hard to obtain. And I'll be honest, I tried to build the first analytical solution for media buying almost 15 years ago, just for one company. And it was a software company. It was our internal solution. And it crumbled after the load of data we wanted to have just in 3 months. Until recently, there were no technologies that would allow to handle this cost effectively, but these are changing right now. And two things that will happen this year. First, death of reliable source of data in terms of third-party data because of death of cookies and death of all other cross-site tracking technologies. This will be a huge impact across all the channels, across their machine learning, across their other capabilities. Second, for the last several years, a lot of new tools appeared on the market that can process the required huge volumes of media buying data cost effectively and not sharing it with everybody else. And so why this change is very good for small and medium business? Because now, if you want, you can actually have that single source of truth across all your channels, which does the attribution of all the conversions to all your media buying activities on your terms and in one place. And so you have 10 trials or 10 sales. These tools will also show you 10 trials or 10 sales, and they will show the channels that gave you those 10 trials or 10 sales and all additional attribution data, whether it's first, whether it's last click, as you want. So you will own the data, and you will be able to have your own tools to apply machine learning on your terms uniformly across all your channels. And this will help you to better allocate the marketing spend. And I'm not saying that those tools are ubiquitous. No, they're just appearing on the market. A lot of them are small, not visible to the broader audience, but you'll see them pop at a bigger level of this and next year. And more tools will appear, and they will solve quite a few challenges that were in the MarTech. First, MarTech is marketing technology for media buying. First, they will be able to process huge volumes of data in real time, because somebody has hundreds of clicks per day, somebody has millions of clicks per day. And they will be able to manage that huge volumes of data without sampling. Because otherwise, if they sample the data, like create just the representative slices of it, they are not accurate in attribution. And everybody wants accurate attribution and have 10 conversions when there is 10 conversions. And moreover, probably such tools already exist, but they are very costly for small and medium business. Not many companies want to pay, I don't know, $1,500 per month or $1,500 per month, or maybe $2,200 per month, just to have accurate attribution and remove that bias from the traffic sources. But when they are priced at $300 or $400, you may want to invest into having this single source of truth. And of course, I believe that in the near future, they will also employ machine learning not only to process your data, but to process your request. And instead of just typing down or setting up all the boundaries, all the settings, you'll just talk to the program and say, hey, show me the best performance campaigns of the last week and what was the driver behind the change. And they will process your request and they will show the chart because it still goes back to the data. So to finish it, I believe, again, it's a very subjective opinion, that in the near future, what will change is that media buying optimization for small medium business will be automating changes of themselves across multiple channels. Right now, you say strategy in the Google for Google, in the Facebook for Facebook, because you are based on their data. I think soon you'll start to have this uniform strategy across all channels because you'll have single source of truth and the data will be owned by you. And since data is owned by you, machine learning algorithms would be owned by you, and you will also set the rules or boundaries for that decision making that are biased towards your business and your business goals. And in the end, the life of media buyer will change, and they will have much more time for creation, innovation. Yes, they will still handle the data, but instead of doing these routine mechanical operations, they will think of creating new rules or new boundaries for that machine learning to provide even better results for your business. And that's pretty much it for today. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope you find something useful in this view on the media buying optimization. And I'm ready for Q&A. And I'm switching these slides. And if you want to make any follow-ups, ask questions afterwards, you can find it me on LinkedIn or just drop me an email. But today, the goal is we have 20 minutes left to answer your questions about attribution, media buying automation, all the changes that happen with third-party cookies and switching the data from the provider to actually the company starting to own the data, and maybe something else. I'm here and ready to talk. Okay, I can see that at least almost 50 people on this stage listen to me, and 0 questions, and we have 20 minutes. So I wonder if everything was clear. You can ask. Okay, in the live environment, it's easier to just get you to ask those questions. So I'll ask one. Just type in Q&A. Was everything clear? Was this session of any benefit to you? Okay, so let's put it this way. Let's wait for maybe a minute. Maybe somebody will have a question, then I'll ask the moderators to roll it out so I don't keep you all those extra 15, 20 minutes just here, and we will be looking at each other, but probably will be looking at me and I'll be sitting like this. Okay, so thank you, everybody. Today on this session, we are talking about optimization in minibind for SMB. Now, in the next 2 years, how it's done, what is automation, what is optimization, what the future holds for small medium business. I hope you enjoy the topic. I'm ready to provide some feedback after if you have more questions, but for now, we have people just sitting there, no questions, and I'm done the talking part. So thank you very much, and I will end this session next 15 seconds. Take care. Bye.